Oh. Like I said, this may be a total failure. All right, so really quick disclaimer. These were not used the way these machines are intended to be used. They're not used in a way that you will probably ever use them, is just sit in one spot and just hammer away for 60 seconds. Nobody's out there doing that. Welcome back to Fab Automotive Detailing, you guys. I have a question for you. Will a rotary cut through paint faster than a DA? I'm hoping we find out in this video. Let's do it. So this is actually a video I've been wanting to make for a long time, but I didn't really know how to make it because using just a paint thickness gauge, yes, it's going to tell us if one removed more paint than the other, but I wanted a different way to do it. Well, recently a company did send me this thermal imager. So we're going to monitor this thermal imager. I'm going to have two different cameras set up. We're going to monitor this in live while we're actually doing it to the paint. In order to make this as fair as possible between the two, we're going to use the exact same compound. This is a compound I'm testing for possibly my brand. I've been testing for a while. I think this is it right here. And we're going to use the exact same pads. Both of these are from DIY Detail. Just one's a 5-inch, one's a 6-inch. We did square it off. And first thing we're going to do is we're going to take measurements on both sides. We'll write it down on the tape. That way we kind of get an idea, and that way I don't have to try to remember what the measurements were. And we're going to basically go 1 minute per side, 3 drops of product on the pad. If it ruins a pad, ruin the paint, I really don't care. And we're going to hold it down there for 1 minute. I'm going to put this jug of soap. It is 5.8 pounds. That's close enough. And I'm just going to rest it on top of the polisher, and we're going to let it sit there for 1 minute. I'll just keep an eye on the clock up there. And if I remember, I'll put it in the video, the timer, so you guys can actually watch it yourself. And then we're going to wipe it off really quick. We'll look at the temperature. The thermal imager should show us a big temperature difference between where the polisher was and where it wasn't. And then we'll take measurements, and we're going to find out if it's true, because everybody has always said that a rotary always cuts faster through paint than a DA is going to. So everybody's like, I don't want to use a rotary, I'm going to burn through the paint. I think it's all about the way you do it, the way you were taught how to do it. There's a bunch of different variables there, but we're going to find out in this video if that is true, and it's something that I've been wanting to do for a long time. All right, you guys, so let's go ahead and start. We'll go ahead and start measuring first. We'll do like 6 measurements. Oops, hang on a second. I like mils. 6.12, 6.7, 6.68, 5.94. This side seems a little bit thinner. Let's check it twice in the middle. 6.9, 7.0. Let's just, I'm trying to get an average because that's where I'm going to try to keep the pad, is right in the middle. 6.7, 6.6, 6.8. So I would say our average is about 6.8 mils. And I'm going to start it right there. Just do average. All right, so let's go over here to the side. This is going to be the dual action side. I'm more concerned about what's in the middle of the paint. 725, 708, 68, 73. But right here is where I'm going to try to keep the pad. 749, 731, 737, 746, 751. So I would say about 7.35 is our average. That's our average to start. Okay, so this is going to be the live view that you guys have. As you can see right here, it is currently 69, 68 degrees, kind of going back and forth on the panel. We're going to do the dual action side first, and this should give you a good idea of how warm the inside of that square is going to get. And then also you see that it's still cold. This polisher I'm using, which is my Griot's Garage G21, is just about wore out. Last time I used it, I dropped it, and now it's extremely noisy, so please forgive me. But I wanted to use a long throw polisher for this video. I do have a spare, but this one's going to have to work for this one. So let's go ahead. I don't do these videos typically, so I'm trying to hopefully make sure I did everything that I was supposed to do. So there's 1, 2, 3. Okay, now I'm probably going to splatter everywhere. There's nothing I can do about it. We're going to use the highest speed is what we're going to do. This may be bad, but we're going to find out. Let's just see what happens here. And go. Wow, a minute's actually really long. We'll probably burn through this. And I'm not putting any pressure down. I'm just letting it soak through it. I don't know if you guys can hear me. This polisher is so loud. We got about 30 seconds or so left. Actually, not too bad to keep it right in the middle. Getting noisy. 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. And you guys, that was very, very noisy on my ears. Let's just wipe the polish off. It is smoking. Okay. And that towel is hot. What are we seeing the temperature is now? 151 degrees, 150 degrees, right around there. So you guys can see very well. Yeah, that's hot. You don't want to be touching that too much. That's for sure. So you can see right where I focused it. Obviously, right? So you can see where all the heat is. Still 142 degrees, still cooling down. We're going to let it cool all the way down because I'm going to go ahead and do the other side with the rotary, and then once they're both cool, we'll take some measurements. So as you guys can see, this side is about 10 degrees warmer, give or take, than the other side was when we started. That's because the heat is going through the metal panel. That's expected. So just remember, we got a 10-degree difference. I don't know if I can even hold on to this at a speed 6 one hand while holding on to the jug, but we're going to do the best we can. This may be an absolute failure, but let's go ahead and put 3 drops on. Try to make them the same. This is a much bigger pad though, but 3 drops. Oh boy, this should be interesting. You guys are probably getting ready to laugh at me. Okay, here we go. 3, actually, let me look at that. Ready? Go 5 seconds after. Go. Yep, I'm gonna be wearing this. There we go. Now, I don't normally use the rotary on the highest speed. We're actually losing power here. Ugh. Like I said, this may be a total failure. It's because it's running out of polish because Brian's wearing all of it. And that side is actually already smoking like crazy. Let's just see what it shows the temperature is. Yeah, we're already extremely hot. So I can't even hold on any longer because it ended up coming off on me. I mean, it is what it is, right? But I don't use a rotary at high speed. Yeah, we burnt through the paint pretty quick. Look at that. 242 degrees. So it gives you a really, really good idea what a high-speed rotary is going to do as far as creating temperature on the paint. That's absolutely kind of mind-blowing to me right now. So let me show you what it did to the paint. You can see. I just got done wiping this off, but there were actually pieces of the pad all over the paint. And this pad has some like dirt marks. I don't know what that is. I don't know if it's just from getting it really hot. Once again, that's not how I use a rotary. Maybe, you know what? Maybe I'll use a rotary the way I use it right here, and we'll test the temperature. I just want to make it fair that both were on the highest speed, see which one would cut faster. But just for a bonus, let's find out, use it the way that I use it, and we'll see what it looks like. Okay, so what we're going to do, I'm going to use it the way that I normally use it to show you you're not going to generate that much heat. I'm going to use the same compound, but I'm going to use the pad that I normally use with the rotary. We're going to do 3 drops. Okay, that's it. You know what? We'll do the same thing with the dual action so we can kind of get an idea. We're going to drop this down to speed 1. This is how I use it. This is how I was taught to use it. So yeah, it's going to swing a little bit, but that's it. We're not going to heat this panel up nearly as much. We can even slow down, take our time with it. We're not applying a bunch of pressure. Nice and smooth, because I use the rotary to finish, not cut. So once again, technique is what can get you in trouble with a high-speed rotary. You notice we're not using a high speed, we're actually using the lowest speed. I need to get one of those hood holders like Cars the Key've got. That one's awesome. This one's just on a cart. Man, I'm picking up stuff. Oh well, we're not going for finish. Look, we really didn't even raise the temperature. Even though it is red, we didn't even raise the temperature at all. And that's how I normally use a rotary. Now let's use the dual action the way I normally use, and let's see what type of heat we get.
So as you see, the temperature is 73.2 right here. When I enter the frame, it goes up because the thermal imager picks up my body heat behind the panel.
Okay, so let's use the dual action the way that I would normally use it, which is typically with an orange pad, just depending on what type of cutting I need to do. Sometimes wool, sometimes microfiber. But the orange pad, middle of the road pad, is kind of the most common that I use, because most cars don't need wool, but most of them need some type of cut. You can't get away with just finishing on most cars. But let's use it the way that I would normally use it. Okay, so we got an orange pad. Look at the starting temperature on the screen there. I need just a little bit more on there. That way we can get an idea. Now typically I cut on a speed 5. Start on 1 though, so I can get this spread out, because I'm already wearing everything from the rotary. I apologize for the noise of this polisher. Speed 5. So one more time around. Yep, I'm gonna have to get my backup out. This polish wipes off so easy. And the cool thing about it is it sweats, so it helps keep the surface cool while you're using it. Let's see what the temperature is. I don't know what it was when we started, but hopefully I'll remember to look when I edit. 87 degrees. Yeah, right around there. 86, 87 degrees. They're nice and cool now, both sides. Let's go ahead and do the middle, because that's where we were kind of got a majority of our measurements. Anyways, that's where it was. 7.14, 7.15, 6.58, 6.93, let's do one more, 7.07. So I would say we're about 7 to 7.1 mils. So we'll just do 7, let's do 7.10 mils. So we really didn't remove all that much. On the rotary side, we had 6.8 mils, 6.52, 6.74, let's go over here, 6.27, 6.92, 6.6. Honestly, even where it looks like we burnt through, It actually, we may not have burnt through. Now we went down quite a bit right there. That's 6.15, and that's through the section, but that's still not burnt through. So basically we marred the surface really bad from all the heat. 6.34, 6.48, 6.08. So we lost, 0.8 of a mil, which isn't terrible, but definitely a lot more than we lost on the dual action side. That's for sure. So we would probably say it's about I'd say it's about 6 mils. It's going to be our average on this side, just based off of going over here where it's really bad. I'm going to go ahead of 5 somewhere. There's 6 right there. 603. 593. So what I'm doing is I'm going off this where we could tell the pad was constantly. So we lost not a whole mil, but we're pretty close to losing a mil of paint. That's a lot of paint to lose. So I just went over with my dual action polisher. As you can see, those marks are gone now. We just basically marred the paint really bad from the pad not probably having enough lubrication on it and not moving, and just marred the paint, but we were able to get rid of it with the dual action polisher. All right, so really quick disclaimer. These were not used the way these machines are intended to be used. They're not used in a way that you will probably ever use them, is just sit in one spot and just hammer away for 60 seconds. Nobody's out there doing that. This was just an extreme situation to see which one was going to generate the most heat and is going to remove the most clear coat. Obviously, the more heat that you create in your clear coat, you're swelling that clear coat up and you're removing more clear coat. You're kind of making it softer with the more heat that you put into it. So that's one of the reasons that people always say rotaries remove more clear coat. You're going to burn through faster with this because you're using it on the highest speed possible and you're going slow. And yes, you're generating a lot of heat and you're removing a lot of clear coat. That is true. Compared to a dual action polisher that at a high speed is not creating nearly as much. I think it was like 70 degrees less than the rotary was. So that's pretty eye-opening, sitting in one spot on the highest speed. Now, I was taught to cut with the DA, finish with the rotary, and I get fantastic results. I love finishing with the rotary. It's faster, and man, do I get better results finishing with this than I do finishing with my DA. Some people cut with their DA and finish, or cut with the rotary, finish with the DA. There's no right or wrong way. As long as you're getting the results you're looking for, that's all that matters. Because there's gonna be people who say, well, why are you finishing with a rotary or blah, blah, blah. As long as you get the results you're looking for, that's all that matters. It doesn't really matter. But when you are using the machines the way you use them, the way you intend to use them, I got less heat with the rotary than I did with the dual action polisher. I used the rotary the way that I use it to finish it with a soft pad, and I use decent speed, hand speed, not real slow, not too fast, kind of in the middle. And I barely heated up this side of the panel at all versus what it started. This side over here, I heated up a little bit more than I ever did with the rotary. So the dual action polisher, using it the way I use it, speed 5 to cut, I definitely build up more heat, which is what you want when you're cutting. You want to build up a little bit of heat to remove those imperfections. So that was not eye-opening to me at all. The eye-opening part to me was, man, I mean, I don't even know if we made it 30 seconds on the rotary before it just went berserk and about killed me. The way it just wanted to come off there, and it just absolutely marred the paint. Did not cut through, like I said in the video when I got done with this. It did not burn through. It just marred it really, really heavily, which we're able to remove. But yeah, I thought this would be a cool video. Having the thermal imager, being able to actually see the temperature versus, pointing a temperature gun at it and saying, okay, this side's 66, this one's, 84. Being able to actually see that red, seeing the area and how big it expands as you're using it, that is really, really cool. So the thermal imager really woke me up to see how much heat we're actually building up with either one of these machines. Once again, these were not used in the way that they should be used, so always keep that in mind. Rotaries are safe when you're using them properly. DAs are safe when you're using them properly. Technique is the biggest thing when it comes to using any type of machine on paint. So thank you guys so much for watching this video and checking it out. If you did like the video, give me a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, join the Fab family. Would love to have you. We'll see you in the next video.